Your mind is insanely powerful, and it is running a script. It is wired a certain way, and you can change that wiring. If you think negatively, this is what I personally did when I was thinking negatively. When I was in high school, I was indulging too much in negative content around negative people, and in doing so, it trained my mind to look at the world and look at reality in a very negative way, in a very negative mindset. And I didn't like it. So what I did was I had to rewire my mind, retrain my mind for positivity. The way in which I did this was every time, first thing I did was I noticed, I brought awareness to when I was having negative thoughts. That's the first step. You need to bring yourself to an awareness. Okay, catch yourself when you're having a negative thought. Oh, I just thought something negative. Oh, that was negative. Then once you get in the habit of catching yourself and noticing when you're having these negative thoughts, then you can implement this counteracting method. Basically, what I would do is I would think a negative thought, and then I would immediately counteract that with 3 positive thoughts about the thing that I was just thinking about. For example, I was in such a negative state of mind at the time that I genuinely, whatever it was, I was just looking at reality through the lens of negativity. So I thought I was driving my car, stopped at the red light, a car drove past, and I thought, what an ugly car. I hate the way that car looks. What an ugly car. And then I noticed myself saying that, and then I was like, hold on. Now I have to say 3 positive things about that car. 3 genuine positive things. Force your mind to change its lens into positivity. You can't just say 3 nice things like, oh, nice color, nice wheels, nice headlights. No. You have to feel the emotion tied to it. You have to genuinely feel, yeah, I actually like this about the car. So I looked at the car again. I turned right. I looked at the car as I was driving behind it, and I noticed, okay, it was difficult because I had to force my mind to seek and to extract a way of thinking that it hadn't been used to. So I thought I would really analyze this car. And I thought, I like the way the side trimming looks. I like the shape of the headlights. They're cute. And I like that the car is quiet. It doesn't make a loud noise. And I genuinely thought this about the car. And because of that, I was slowly rewiring my mind for positivity. I was rewiring my mind to see from the lens of positive thinking. So you can apply this to literally every aspect of your life in the sense that your mind is in control. So to rewire your mind, this is what you do. You counteract it. Do this counteracting method. Let's say you are doing something that you don't like the way you're doing it. For example, you use filler words and you don't want to use filler words anymore. First step is bring yourself to the awareness of when you are using it. Then catch yourself. Try to catch yourself before you use it and replace that with a pause. So rather than saying like, but, you just pause before you catch yourself before you say it, and you just pause. And then you continue on with your sentence without saying the filler word. To go into a deeper aspect of it, let's say every time you go outside and you sit in nature in the present moment with no input, no technology, you overthink or you get in your head. You counteract that by first you notice, okay, whatever I'm thinking about now, whatever's going on emotionally now, it's not reality, it's just my interpretation. You notice, you become aware of that. And then, second, you counteract that by thinking, okay, I'm going to notice my thoughts as thoughts. I'm not going to emotionally attach to them, and I'm just going to allow them to flow like clouds. And I'm just going to sit in this present moment without allowing myself to get in my head and allowing that to have power over me, and allowing my nervous system activation or whatever overthinking I'm going through to cause me to generate a emotional response that is going to make this moment not enjoyable anymore. But a very big factor in what makes this successful is your level of demanding of yourself. You have to demand yourself. You have to really push yourself to notice. Because I've seen people that they want to stop using filler words, but then they just keep going on with their day. They don't demand from their mind, hey, we need to be aware of when we're using these words so that we can break the pattern. They just kept doing what they were doing, and they didn't really put in any effort in forcing their mind to become aware. And maybe the issue is that you just don't want it enough to do so, to demand your mind to become aware. Because when you are unaware of something, you do need to push yourself. You need to push your mind and to tell your mind, hey, listen up, buddy. We need to become aware of this so that we can break the pattern. I actually want to become aware of this so that we can break the pattern. And when you have that deep enough desire and demanding your mind to become aware, you will naturally become more aware of when you are going through these patterns, so that you have the chance and opportunity to break them, to counteract them, and to rewire your mind. So to summarize the video, the secret formula that's not so secret anymore is, first step, have a desire to break a pattern, right? Have a deep enough desire to break a pattern. And second step, become aware. So through that desire, you're telling your mind, hey, I want to break this pattern, so I want to become aware of this. Become aware of every time you are going through that pattern. You are using the filler words. You are doing the thing that you want to break free from. Notice and become aware of it. Then, third step, catch yourself when you're doing it, and immediately in that moment counteract it by doing basically the exact opposite. If you're thinking negatively, think 3 positive things of whatever you were thinking about. The point of this is to establish a new behavior by doing more of the behavior that you want than the behavior that you're trying to replace. So if you're thinking a negative thought, replace that, counteract that with 3 positive thoughts, because then that enforces in your mind that the positive thoughts are stronger than the negative, because you thought more positive, right? So, and this can also be applied to long-term goals, not just simple things like replacing the way you think, negative thinking to positive thinking. For example, if you are going to the gym and you have a struggle with overeating, I had a struggle with overeating, emotional eating, binge eating, lots about it. I can explain more of it if you want, leave a comment. But the way I applied this method, this counteracting method, was actually more of a process. It wasn't in the moment immediately doing things. It took time over the course of years of, first, let's have a deep enough desire to notice why I'm overeating, what's going on. And this is the deeper level of what I just explained, the deeper aspect of it, rather than just the simple. But I had to first have a deep enough desire to want to change. Then I had to become aware of when I was overeating, and then study, okay, why? What is the reason? Because it wasn't as simple as just doing something and then counteracting it. I had to understand why, because it was connected to some sort of attachment. So I had to detach from that. And then this took a long time. So the more I went through this cycle, the more I went through this pattern through a course of a few years, after the initial moment, the initial period of me actually desiring to change. Because before, I was still going through this cycle, but I wasn't really caring about it. It wasn't as extreme, and I didn't have a desire to change. But then, after that moment, that point in my life, when I actually felt a deep enough desire, okay, I want to change this, then I had to bring myself to the awareness of when I was doing it, and then I had to understand why. And then I had to heal these attachments as to why I was overeating, what I was doing it for, what trauma, unhealed trauma it was connected to, childhood trauma it was connected to. I had to heal through that. And then I was able to slowly but surely counteract it. And for the counteracting to actually work and to actually stick in my life, it was after going through all the healing and releasing the attachments, then I was able to finally counteract it by eating healthy and no longer binge eating, no longer emotional eating. Instead of eating emotionally, I would counteract that by doing something else to relieve myself of whatever emotional discomfort or emotional or pain I was going through. For example, if I had anxiety, I would go on a run instead of anxiously eating. So that basically wraps up the video. I explained the simpler aspect of rewiring your mind because of a pattern of thinking that you don't like, based on habits that you've been going through, just surface level simple stuff that you can easily replace by counteracting and using this method. And also the deeper aspect of using this method over a longer period of time, more thoroughly, and diving deep into your subconscious so that you can heal through the trauma, heal through the wounds and attachments and conditioning that is causing you to remain in this cycle. So yeah, I hope this helped. I hope this gave you clarity. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much. Use this method, use this counteracting method for both the simple just rewiring your thinking, rewiring your mental circuitry, but also for the deeper aspects of your life, the deeper patterns that are tied to trauma or tied to unprocessed wounds, unprocessed or attachments that were formed through an era, a time period of survival mode. So yeah, you can use this method for anything. Just let me know what you used it for. Yeah, I hope you have a nice day. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment if you feel called to do so.